Project Director for the Horn of Africa. Good to have you on the show. I mean, doesn't the upper house have to vote on a resolution before it's signed into law? I mean, why was this step skipped?
Yes, so what we're witnessing in Somalia is the culmination of a long-running political crisis. And I think it's worrisome for some of the reasons you cited, but mainly because in recent election cycles, Somali elites found a way to cultivate consensus among themselves, even amid bitter polarization. What you're seeing now is that the opposition, together with some of the regional member states, have decided that they are not going to take part in an election dominated by the president. And the president essentially decided to use the lower house of parliament as a rubber stamp. The upper house argues that it needs to vote on it, but then when you look at it, the composition of the upper house is likely to be less amenable to this amendment because some of them represent the powerful regional member states that are not happy. So yes, it could be argued that the procedure was not correct, but ultimately this is a political crisis.
You mentioned the opposition. You also mentioned, we also know of these two breakaway provinces. I mean, how will the next 2 years be used in terms of achieving political unity, if it can be?
So the lower house of parliament decided that the next election should be held on a one-person, one-vote basis. We think that logistically that will be very difficult. It will still be very tough to cultivate trust in institutions. I think one of the most immediate dangers here is a fragmentation of the security forces. We've seen already that the Mogadishu police chief moved to try and stop parliament from meeting. He was fired and then replaced by somebody seen as more pliable. I think the most immediate danger is continued polarization, continued splits within the security forces. But underlying this is a lack of trust among the political actors. One thing that I think you need that party mediation in this dispute. It's very difficult to see that you can build trust in a context where the parties, since they last met in September and agreed on an electoral framework, that they can come together. So I think maybe third party mediation, whether it's by the African Union, the United Nations, or some other party, is really urgently needed.
Okay. Murithi Mutiga, live for us from Nairobi. Thank you very much.